Thank you to all of our open mic readers. We at the Hot L are so proud of this community that comes together every month and to read new work. And at such a high level, it's always thrilling and wonderful to be a part of. So thank you for your poems, and we look forward to seeing you next month. In December, Idra Novi will be reading, and in November, Christopher Childers will be reading with Tracy O'Day, who is one of our hosts. James Arthur is going to feature in December, and by that point, we'll be at the Bird in Hand down in Charles Village, which is a lovely, cozy indoor space when it's too chilly to be outside. And then in January, Tracy Diamond and Justin Marks. So good things are coming up, not least of which is our second featured reader of the day. And we're delighted, thrilled, and grateful to Peter Vertacnik for making the trip up from Florida to be with us. He is the author of The Nature of Things Fragile, which won the 2023 New Criterion Prize. His poetry, translations, and criticism have appeared in journals such as 32 Poems, Bad Lilies, the Cortland Review, Hampden-Sydney Poetry Review, the Hopkins Review, Literary Matters, Poet Lore, and Think, among others. With Chase Dearinger, Vertacnik is the co-director of the Cow Creek Chapbook Prize at Pittsburg State University. So if you have a chapbook, I encourage you to send it their way. A resident of Florida, as I mentioned, he teaches at the Episcopal School in Jacksonville. And we're really pleased that he could be with us today. Please welcome Peter Vertacnik. Hello. Let me get my old man glasses here. Before I read anything, I don't want to forget at the end, thank you all very much for being here, specifically to everyone at Smartish Pace, at the Ivy Bookshop, to David Yezzi for inviting me. For Alejandro, your poems are amazing. I really feel honored to be reading with you and to be reading you just in general, and to all of you for being here. It's funny, I've been in Florida for a few years, and this normally would feel like a nice day to me, but I actually feel kind of cold. I think I've been in Florida too long. All right, here's a poem called Apology to Candles. Because we use you mostly for show, personal or public, a romantic dinner, birthdays, mass. Because for our everyday lives, you seem too decadent somehow, or dangerous, and prized more for scent than your fragile, fluent light. Because we stash you in a drawer, unspoken fears awaiting the next disaster. Because we fail to recognize that the shiver of filaments within each incandescent bulb recalls flames wavering on their wicks when a draft passes through the room. And yes, because too often we place you in a child's bewildered grip at the latest neighborhood vigil, your sputtering and fervid gestures reminding us how shadows shift. Thank you. One of the things that I like about being a poet is you get to be part of these little traditions of different kinds of poems that have been written through the years. When I was growing up in my backyard, we had these peonies. And the house that I grew up in had been my great-grandparents' house before that, and so these were the peonies that my great-grandmother had planted decades before, and they were still there.
And so I always was on the lookout for peony poems when I was reading, and many great peony poems in the history of poetry, particularly in 20th century American poetry, people like Robert Bly and Jane Kenyon, Henri Cole. I always noticed that all of the peonies these poems were written about peonies that were in bloom. And so I thought I'd write a poem about what happens to the peonies after they bloom. This is called Peonies in July. By sunrise, it's already so warm, the dew has fled our lawn. The vaulted walnut chitters on. Up early to refill the bird bath, I shuffle with the bucket's brimming weight across the yard, spying the peonies, their withered heads fused to stooping stems, brown and brittle, as if burned. In June, they were immense red blossoms, protected by the ants. But now each petal has fallen alone, lost in the thirsty grass. Little remains, except these slight, singed leaves, still seamed with green, still shaped like narrowed eyes. This is an epigram. This is another kind of minor tradition I kind of like weaseled my way into as a poet. Yeah, this is called In Memory of Ray Dolby. He challenged noise and won, rinsing the hiss from analog recordings, the way the sun on humid mornings dissolves the fog. Here's something a bit lighter. When I was younger, I was really into blank cassettes and making my own mixtapes and taking things off the radio. Maybe this betrays my age a little bit, but this is called In Praise of Blank Cassettes. Their labels were emblazoned only with the trademarks of their manufacturers: Philips, Maxell, Sony, Memorex. I filled in the rest myself, armchair creator, backseat DJ, waiting anxiously beside the boombox in my room until that song reclaimed the radio. Fingers pressing play and record in unison as I prayed the on-air personality wouldn't botch the ending with his prattle. Experts routinely credit the telephone, but mixtapes spell the end of my love letters. A blessing since my young left-handed script, half rigor mortis and half seismograph, befuddled more frequently than enamored. While others prospered by the crafting of bold, bubbled vowels and chiseled consonants, by the precise folding of pages ripped decisively from wide-ruled spiral notebooks. It was in the compilation of brief tracks, tunes which enticed, then pleaded, that I excelled. Those missives made of ballads snatched from the airwaves, just as swallows were ensnared in nets for counting, but released again into an evening breeze where they soon warbled. So my ardent tapes alighted shyly on the waiting palms of Katie, Jennifer, and Monica. I'll read two more poems. During the pandemic, for a while, I lived across the street from two cemeteries, and I spent a lot of time walking in both of those cemeteries. So I have a few poems that I call my cemetery poems, and I'll read one of them. This is called Gardeners. Enveloped by the noise of tools, mower, trimmer, leaf blower, or backhoe, each man labors alone, lacquered with daylit sound, glowing like the stained and sainted windows nearby, even when it's overcast. Those afternoons that I stride past the plots and paths these three maintain, they nod, wave politely from their distance. The digging and planting continue here year-round, governed by other seasons.
Sir, sorry, not to bother you. You have on the back of your shirt though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Does it look like a kind of a stinging bug?
Yeah.
No, they don't hurt it.
No, it's a laser fly.
Is it? Oh,
I'm sorry, I couldn't want to.
no, that's very close. Now, the real question is like, how long was that there that you guys like? Just two poems, two poems worth, that's no big deal. That's totally fine. Thank you so much, by the way.
Sorry.
No, absolutely. Here's my last poem. It's called, this is one of these poems, it's an after poem, and it's after this Irish poet named Patrick Dickinson, who's a 20th century poet. And he wrote a poem called Lullaby for Adults that was about kind of, I guess, nuclear annihilation, for lack of a better term. He was kind of a meditation about what the world would be like, or what the world wouldn't be like after a nuclear war. I really just took the title, so my poem's not about that. But it's a poem that I sometimes read last because it's a lullaby. But here it is, Lullaby for an Adult after Patrick Dickinson. All the doors are locked. The dog's been walked. Each tap, each burner off. No dome light glows in the garage. Through that cracked blind, the street lamp doubles as your moon. You sleep alone, but this bed's warm. Your dreams won't paralyze or force contortions. Your face, though pocked and stubbled, softens. The ticking clock has gone. Your pulse marks time, throbbing through the splinter, burrowed in your palm. No termite, no errant spark will test these walls tonight. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much to our featured poets, to our open mic poets, to our friends from the Ivy, to David and the Hopkins Review, and to my co-host from Smartish Pace. And we look forward to seeing you at the next event. Don't forget to buy books from our featured poets, and also the bookshops open upstairs. Thanks so much.